Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Megan, and I am the facilitator for today. I'm joined by a lovely group of panelists here from the University of Massachusetts, and I'm going to give you some housekeeping items before I hand it off to them. So know that the session is being recorded today. You will be able to access the session recording at the IACAC.org website about a week after from today. But know that the session is being recorded. While you can hear and see us, we cannot hear and see you. So in that case, you will be able to ask any questions that you have during the presentation. At the bottom of your screen, there will be a Q&A option. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have. Again, the session is being recorded, so if you feel like if you're missing something, don't worry, you'll be able to get it later. I'm going to pass this now off to Rachel, where she will kick us off.
Thank you so much, Megan. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Rachel Mason. I am the Senior Associate Director of First Year Recruitment, a long mouthful, here at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. I am sorry that we can't welcome you to campus or come and visit you in your home state, but I am so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you virtually. We have a lot of information to share with you today, but first I'd like to ask my student panelists to come to join me to introduce themselves. Laura, can you say hello?
Yeah, of course. So hi, everyone. My name is Laura. I'm a sophomore majoring in marketing and minoring in psychology. I recently just transferred into the business school here at UMass. I came in as economics, so we'll go in a little bit into the competitive schools here at UMass. So I'll talk about my little experience. I'm from Wayne, New Jersey. Sorry, my dog just like ran through. Working from home at Zoom. So besides, so I'm from Wayne, New Jersey, so I'm currently at home right now. Sadly can't be on campus, which I was. And besides being a tour guide, I'm part of Women in Business, Habitat for Humanities, and the Marketing Club.
As you can tell, we are a tight group here at the university and have a very cheerful nature about us. Isn't that the joy of Zooming in this world today? I had a crash at the beginning of the session. So Phil, after that, please introduce yourself and your setting.
Yeah, so currently I am just in my room. Hopefully nothing's running behind me, but anyways, my name is Phil. I'm a junior here at UMass. I'm studying math education. So one day I'd hope to become a high school math teacher. We'll see where it goes. But I'm from a small town, Princeton, Massachusetts. So it's about an hour away from UMass. Some things I've been involved in on campus. I am in the outing club. So we get to go hike around Western Massachusetts up to New Hampshire and Vermont. It's only like 2 hours up to the mountains up there. So not too bad. And there's tons of areas to hike around and do a bunch of outdoorsy stuff out in Western Mass, right near UMass Amherst. I'm also sort of on the club tennis team, although I'm not good enough to actually make the team. I do just hit around with my friends back on campus, all the other kids who aren't good enough to make the team. So that's what I do for fun on campus. But I'll pass it back to Rachel to start the session.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So our goal today is to first give you a general overview of the University of Massachusetts Amherst, but of course to hear from our current students. They really do exemplify the university and all that it has to offer. We'll answer your questions in regards to our academic programs as well as opportunities outside the classroom. We will then, of course, touch on the application process and then answer any of the questions that you may have. We are going to do our best to monitor the chat, but may not be able to answer your questions during the presentation. We will do our best to also answer those live. But always at the end, we'll provide you with ways to contact us directly. We really want you to know that here at the university, we are committed to answering all of your questions, not only during the application process, but ideally when you're considering enrolling and making that commitment through depositing all the way to new student orientation. So let us first talk a little bit about general facts regarding the university. We are the flagship campus of all the universities in Massachusetts. We're the largest, coming in at about 23,000 to 24,000 undergraduates and 6,000 graduate students, so nearly 30,000 students in total. We truly have a beautiful campus. We're very proud of it. You can see it there in my background, and are located in what is referred to as a quaint town in New England, in the town of Amherst. We're about an hour and a half from Boston. about 3 hours from New York City. Because of our size and the fact that we are part of the 5-college consortium, including Smith, Mount Holyoke, Amherst, and Hampshire College, we really are like having our own little city plopped into a beautiful setting of the Pioneer Valley. Amherst actually is consistently voted among the top college towns in the country and is a wonderful area for our students. And actually, maybe Laura and Phil, could you take just a moment to touch on some of your favorite aspects of the area?
I can go first. So definitely Amherst is my favorite town to go to. We do also have Northampton, but Amherst is about 15 minutes from campus and a quick 5-minute bus ride. So I definitely will spend my weekends there a lot when it's nice out and warmer. I definitely love the Works. It's a cafe there. I definitely get a bagel, smoothie. Not really into coffee, so I don't really get coffee actually, surprisingly. But I'll do my work there on the weekends in case I want to get a little break from campus. I also love Buono Isano and glazed donuts that is in town. Great burritos and amazing donuts. Love the Fruity Pebbles one. Kind of just obsessed with Fruity Pebbles, so I'll have that on basically anything. But yeah, I basically love the town of Amherst, and it's a great college town. So I'll pass it on to Phil to add on his little experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like I said before, in the outing club, I love to hike around. There's tons of mountains, as you can see in the top left picture. That's in the background is a picture of Mount Sugarloaf and then North Sugarloaf. I go there all the time. Sugarloaf has the perfect sunset. You can look over the whole campus. It's beautiful, and you always find tons of people up there. I'll be like stumbling into some friends saying like, I didn't know you were going to hike here tonight. They say the same thing, and then we'll go hiking the next week together and do the sunset together. But I just love the area. The Connecticut River's about a 20-minute drive away. There's a bunch of cool little swimming holes around. This summer I lived out in Amherst, and me and my friend decided to buy a float, and every hot day we just floated down the Connecticut River for like 5 hours. It goes pretty slow, so we don't make it that far, but it's just nice to lay on the float, get a tan, get really sunburned. I don't tan, so yeah, the area is beautiful. Tons of different things to do. So
thank you. And truth in advertising, right? We are also very proud of the fact that we are in the top 30 of public universities in the United States. But also of importance and particular note is that for the last 5 years running, the university has been #1 in campus dining, according to the Princeton Review. So that is all colleges and universities across the country. But within all of those stats, it's really important to kind of get a sense of our students. And one of the questions we get a lot is, what does a successful UMass student look like? And, you know, in my opinion, it's a student who takes advantage of the vast amount of opportunities the university has to offer its undergraduate students, both in and outside the classroom. They are really taking their education to their own hands and are ready and eager to revolutionize, that's one of our phrases, the future through innovation, research, self-growth. I'm going to show you a video actually that I really think captures those powerful moments from our current students.
We are the revolutionaries of today.
Not waiting for change,
but creating it. By asking questions and questioning answers.
Because our calling
is a better tomorrow. At the University of Massachusetts Amherst,
a revolutionary spirit runs through our veins.
It inspires us
to think in new ways.
To challenge convention.
Not to simply be different,
but to actually make a difference.
In Massachusetts, the place where it all began.
By looking into space, thinking there must be more.
And then going out and proving it.
Where we don't see obstacles,
but opportunities. That's what revolutionaries do.
We embrace the freedom to dream bigger.
To dig deeper. And to never back down from the impossible.
Our future is in our very own hands.
We are pioneers.
Builders.
Unconventional doers.
Committed to the relentless pursuit of progress. Be revolutionary.
We are the University of Massachusetts Amherst.
I never get tired of watching that video. So thank you so much for joining me in that. I want to also touch upon more about the university in terms of our student body. As a campus with thousands of students who come from all different backgrounds, we work hard to continuously improve our campus community. We really want every student to feel welcome, comfortable in an environment where they can easily learn and flourish to their greatest potential. Our institutional goal is to establish UMass Amherst as a community of choice for our students. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. Was moving a little too fast. But we really do want to be a community of choice for our students, but also for our staff and faculty as well, that exemplifies the power of diversity and diverse perspectives, but also mutual respect. And we know that is something that requires us to constantly foster and to recommit to. You can take a look at some of the things that we're doing on campus to combat racism, but I'm proud to say that the university, this is not a new initiative for us. Many years ago, we established a campaign of Hate Has No Home at UMass. This was a campus-wide initiative, really uniting us in support of diversity and inclusion. And now more than ever, we must show that we reject all forms of bigotry and hatred. And that is a commitment that the university takes seriously and is constantly recommitting and refocusing our energies on. We really want to reaffirm the university's commitment to providing a safe place for us all to learn and to grow by taking into consideration diverse perspectives. And that really does expand to all members of our community, no matter their backgrounds. These are just a few of the organizations that support our students, whether that be disability services, religious organizations, the Stonewall Center supporting LGBTQ members of our community as well. There are actually more. This is only the start of that list. Let's talk a little bit about academics. We offer at the university over 90 majors across 10 schools and colleges. At UMass, it really is yours to create and follow your passions. And even if you're not exactly sure what they are just yet, the academics here allow students to shape their academic interests in many different ways. You may choose one, or if you'd like, double major in any of those. Plus, you could also consider one of our 90 plus minors and certificates that we offer. If you don't find exactly what you're looking for and you'd like to design your own major, that is absolutely possible through our BDIC program. So the combination is limitless, and the opportunity to adjust as you grow and have new experiences is always available to you. But now I'll hand it over to Laura to talk about our competitive majors.
Yes, so at UMass, like Rachel mentioned before, we have 10 schools and colleges. So 4 out of those 10 are considered competitive majors. So now this doesn't mean that they're better students, they're smarter students, they're better than all the rest of the schools. This just means that they get so many applicants when students are applying out of high school that they need to have a limited amount of seats to accept students. So that doesn't mean really anything wise of being smarter or compared to the other schools, but it's just they have a limited amount of seats. So these 4 colleges, these 4 competitive majors include the engineering school, the computer science and information school, the nursing school, and the Eisenberg School of Management. So I'm a part of the Eisenberg School of Management. I actually transferred once I came to UMass, so I had to go through a little bit of a different application process than I would if I was just switching my major from economics to maybe psychology, which is just in the College of Natural Sciences. It's not considered a competitive school. So for me, I kind of had to have a certain GPA, take a few prerequisite courses, go to an information session, and apply my second semester sophomore year. I later found out in July that I got accepted, so I was really excited. I'm now a marketing major. So this is kind of just something that if you are applying to UMass with a competitive major, one thing to note is that when you put in on the Common App, the primary major, if you put in marketing or chemical engineering, they usually recommend putting a secondary major, and that is not a competitive major. So this is kind of so if you don't get into the competitive major, you can still get into UMass. You'll be looked at for a different major as well. So I came in, I put marketing, and then I put economics as my second major. So I didn't get into Eisenberg, but I got into economics and was still admitted into UMass. And I'm so glad because I absolutely love it here. So this is just kind of an opportunity to make sure if you want to be looked at maybe for a different major that isn't competitive and still have a chance to get into UMass because it is really a great school. But one thing I want to make note is that nursing, usually you're only looked at for nursing. So you can't really put in, so if you want to be looked at for a second major, you should email definitely the school and be like, hey, like I know I will also want to be looked at for maybe public health or another major like that, because usually in nursing, they just usually will only look at that, because most nursing students just want to come in as a nursing student, don't want to do anything, because you also can't transfer once you're at UMass. That's one thing about the nursing schools. I could transfer in Eisenberg engineering, but I can't transfer into nursing. I have to get in right out of high school. So if Rachel has anything to add, but that's kind of.
No, that is exactly spot on and why you are here today. And also why I'm going to hand the mic over to Phil to talk about the Commonwealth Honors College.
Yeah, so the Honors College, although it does say college, it's not really any different from applying to UMass, or it's not a separate like degree granting kind of institution that we have here. It's just kind of like, we like to say it's the cherry on top of the ice cream, UMass ice cream sundae. So it's something you can do on top of your major. I'm not in the Honors College, but a bunch of my friends are. So one of the perks is that you get to live in the honors dorms if you would choose to. In the top left picture, you can see the honors dorms. They're brand new, built in, well, I guess not brand new right now, but 2013 they were built. So they're the brand newest dorms on campus. They do have AC, which is a huge plus, although you don't really need AC except for like maybe the first 2 weeks of school in the fall and then the last 2 in the spring. It never gets too hot up here. Beautiful New England weather. Does get a little snowy in the winter though. But anyways, so back to the Honors College. So basically what it is you would be taking your normal courses. So let's say I'm a math major. If I were in the Honors College, I'd still be taking all my math major requirements, but I'd have the honors added on top of it, which means that I could get some classes that are a little smaller, a little more focused with the professor, just because it is a smaller class. They're able to take more time one-on-one with you. You also be working on your thesis that takes up your 4 years. Graduating from college with a thesis is huge, because then you have that to show to your different prospective jobs or employers that you're looking for. To apply to the Honors College. So there is no actually application process for the Honors College coming out of high school. All you have to do is apply to UMass and your application will be automatically considered for the Honors College. If you get in, great, you can get in the Honors College. Also, if you get in and you're like, I don't really want the Honors College, then no one's gonna force you to do it. So it's completely up to you. Let's say if you didn't get into the Honors College coming from high school, you can transfer in while you are a student at UMass. This does require an application, and then I think maybe like a little test or something. The application process really isn't that bad coming from a UMass student to get into the Honors College. But once you're a part of it, then you get all the benefits from living at the Honors College and being a part of the Honors College. Think that covered anything. Again, Rachel, if you have anything to say, jump in.
Absolutely, no, absolutely, yes, you're right. It requires a submission of a writing sample and having achieved a 3.4 GPA, which you plan on maintaining throughout. But you're right, the majority of students actually who participate in the Honors College apply and get in after they've already been admitted. So definitely not a door that closes and a great option for students. And we also know at the university that it's not just all schoolwork here. The university supports students' personal growth and development outside the classroom in several ways. UMass is a leader in having students get practical experience. We have research experience for all of our students in all majors that students can start as early as their freshman year. Excuse me. And the research that you're involved in does not have to be specific to your major. You can absolutely go outside your major or even your school and college. Then also there are opportunities to expand your real life experience within internships and co-ops. Laura, would you like to touch on your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, so internships and co-ops and research are definitely huge things at UMass, and definitely so many ways that a student can get involved on campus. So kind of with research, I'll go into quickly. We have our ARS office, that's the Office of Undergraduate Research. And study, I think that I got the R's. And that's located in the library on the 10th floor. This office is there to help you kind of find research on campus. So all our professors are actually usually all doing research. They're really keeping up with their studies. So they're actually teaching you stuff that they're currently learning and studying and researching as well. So there's definitely a lot of ways to get involved. Usually students can even go up after class maybe that they're in. If they really like a professor and they know they're doing work, they can ask, be like, hey, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Can I help you in any way? And most of the time the professor will be like, yes, of course, join me. And that's just one great way. We're actually the third funded university for research too, right under MIT and Harvard in the New England area. So we're right up there with those Ivy Leagues, which is something we're really proud of and definitely recommend getting involved with. Also, you do not have to be a STEM major to just get involved with research. Any major can be involved, which is really great. And I definitely recommend getting involved in that. And then kind of with internships and co-ops, we have our career center, which is located in the Goodell Hall. So this is kind of for all majors to use to kind of get the resumes checked, have a mock interview, kind of go over the business attire, just really great resources to kind of get involved with internships, and they're really there to help you find them as well. But also all colleges and schools usually have their own career center. So being part of Eisenberg, I have the Chase Career Center. They're kind of just helping usually just Eisenberg students find work. We use the Eisenberg Works and Handshake. Handshake is kind of for all UMass students to use, and it's a website that connects you with alumni, companies, other students to try to find internships, jobs around the area and in your own area. But these opportunities are just really great and a great resource for students to get involved with. They usually also host career fairs. So career fairs are a great way to meet companies, meet people, network. You'll probably hear that, at least for a business student, always network, network, network. So I'm constantly doing that. But we actually, with COVID, we still had our careers fair, which was all virtual, which was still really cool. They're still offering so many things to do. So many companies are looking for students still, which is really great because I know I'm a little nervous about the job market, even though I'm a sophomore, but they're still out there. Companies are still wanting to get UMass students. They're still having career fairs. They're still having information sessions. Really, I know you're thinking about just applying to college, but we're talking about what it is after college. So I know that's a little stressful, but UMass is going to help you in so many ways for your life after it. So don't be nervous. They're here to help. Both with the Career Center in Goodell and your own Career Center in your college. So there's so many ways. So don't be nervous about this. It's all great stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Laura. And Phil, would you touch on other opportunities to learn outside of the classroom, study away, both kind of local, national, and international?
Yeah, definitely. So we have 3 different ways to study abroad or study away from UMass. The first one, like Rachel said, we're a part of the 5-college consortium that has the other 4 colleges in the area. For anyone who missed that, that's Amherst, Amherst College, Hampshire College, Mount Holyoke, and Smith College. Also, sorry if you hear a jet flying over. I don't know if anyone heard that. That was really loud. But so those are the other 4 colleges. Being a student at UMass, you're able to take up to 2 classes per semester at any of these other colleges. Completely, well, it's not free, but it's the same tuition as UMass. It's really easy to get to these other schools. We have the Pioneer Valley Transit bus system that can get you from UMass to the front step of Amherst and any of the other colleges. So it's really easy to get there, and that's a really cool opportunity because UMass is a big public institution, and these other schools are small private liberal arts schools. So you're going to get a different feel in the classes, and it's just kind of good experience to open yourself up to some other type of college. The next type that we have is domestic exchange. So you can go to any of the, I believe we have them in 48 states. There's over 300 different institutions that you can go to. Really cool. The number 1 most popular is actually Montana, surprisingly, but a lot of the kids or a lot of the students in the Stockbridge School of Agriculture end up going to Montana because the big agriculture stuff out there. I don't know, I've never been to Montana, but I'm assuming. Obviously Hawaii, California, Florida, those are all popular ones as well. You would also pay the same tuition that you'd be paying at UMass to go to these other schools, unless it would be cheaper. So you always pay either the equal price or a cheaper price. And then the final way to study abroad is the not normal, but the most popular type of study abroad, where you go to another country and you spend a semester or a whole year over there. We have programs in all 7 different continents. So if you really do want to go to Antarctica and do your ice age exploration, by all means, go for it. I won't be going. A little too cold there for me, but if you want that, then go ahead. One of my friends was in Barcelona his junior year, and he was able to go to 13 different countries in Europe. He said it was the time of his life. He can't wait to go back. And he went for a cheaper than he would be paying for UMass. So again, the same thing with the domestic exchange. If you're going to study abroad in a different country, if the tuition and the expenses is cheaper than UMass, you're going to pay the cheaper price, which normally it's going to be cheaper because other countries tend to have much cheaper education than here in the States. But so if you do want to go abroad, a lot of the times it ends up being cheaper, even with all your travel expenses accounted for. We have the International Programs Office also, which helps you with your planning, how to get there, what to do over there. Any questions you have about study abroad, the IPO office is definitely there to help you with that. So I have yet to study abroad. I'm not sure if I'm going to, as I am going into my senior year next year. But you never know, so.
Always good to have had the option, and there's a lifetime of travel ahead of you. Well, student life, I am actually just going to stop there because though I am a UMass grad, it was 20 years ago. So out of deference to ladies first, Laura, would you like to first start talking about what is student life at UMass?
Yeah, so this is a really long stop, so I'm really just kind of gonna go over my little experience. So maybe if Phil wants to go over his experience, just with time and stuff, because this is usually like a 20, 30-minute stop sometimes, because there's so much to say. So I'll kind of talk about my experience. So I lived in Central. Central is one of the 5 residential areas on campus that you can live in as a freshman. Central's kind of centrally located on campus, hence the name. And I had Franklin Dining Hall, which was amazing. Love their stir fry. And burger night on Mondays was the best. And it's kind of up a hill, so you get a lot of kids that will be sitting on the grass when it's warm out, playing maybe frisbee, throwing a football around, or just sitting on the hill, kind of looking at the view during the sunsets. Because I think UMass really has, and Massachusetts maybe in general, has beautiful sunsets. I'm not seeing these same sunsets in Jersey, so I really miss the UMass sunsets. But Central is definitely, you got a lot of kids outside and stuff, kind of just like hanging around. I can definitely say this, even in the winter, we had our one snow day my freshman year, and everyone was sleigh riding. People had skis and were skiing somehow down this hill. I went sleigh riding with my friends. We took our plastic lids, went down the hill. We were not wearing the proper gear for the snow because we did not bring it because we're college students. Why would we have all this snow gear? So it was really cold, and I had snow in places that was not really nice, but I absolutely loved it, and it was one of my favorite memories that I have living at Central. We probably mentioned before, we have #1 dining. Absolutely amazing. Can totally say that it is #1 for a reason. And one fun fact about that is that we get lobster and steak on Halloween. Missing that right now. My parents might actually make that for me for Halloween because they feel bad that I'm home, but it won't be the same because it's not New England lobster. Like there's a difference there. It's a huge difference. But that's just one great way that UMass dining is #1 for its many reasons. So if Phil wants to talk about his experience, go for it.
Yeah, so my experience was a little different. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but I did transfer to UMass. So I came here my second semester freshman year. I lived in Sylvan Residential, which is where it's a hall that's dedicated to transfer students. So I was like, this is perfect. Like, I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna be in the same boat as every other kid living in my dorm. If you can see in the top left picture, like the very back corner, there's like a little farther up. There we go. Yeah, that's Sylvan. So it is pretty far, but not too far. But I loved living up there. I actually lived with my freshman roommate that lived in Sylvan with me, transferred from the same school with me. He lives right across the hall. I just heard him come in. And then one of my friends that lives in our apartment also lived across the hall from us my freshman year. So I've stayed close with all my friends that I lived with and lived on the same floor as freshman year. I then moved dorms to Southwest, which if you've ever seen pictures of UMass, you're probably familiar with the big towers. Southwest there's 5 22-floor dorm towers. It's in the top right picture, and then bottom right in the far back, you can kind of see some of them. But basically Southwest there's 6,000 students that live in a pretty small area. It's very populated. You always see people that you know walking to and from class. There's 2 dining halls in the one area just because there are so many students. fun fact, I was actually kind of terrified of this when I first heard it, but it's really not that bad. Southwest is the second most densely populated area, like per square mile, in the Northeast behind Manhattan. So there are a lot of students in a very small area. I never felt like it was like overcrowded, or I felt claustrophobic, especially I was on the 9th floor of one of the tall towers. It was never that bad. People always wonder like, oh, well, how do you get work done? It must be so loud and busy and everything with so many students there. It's really not that bad. If there is ever an issue with a student or another person that is being loud and obnoxious, annoying, that's when you go and talk to your RA, the residential assistant. I like to call the RA the very cool, fun aunt. Or uncle. They're just an older student. Normally they are either a junior or a senior that lives on your floor and just kind of make sure that everything's going smoothly. There's no issues. If there is ever an issue, that's who you go to, your RA. But they're really there just to help you make sure you're adjusting to college smoothly. And then very last thing before we move on, I'll just toss out the football games and the hockey games. They're so much fun. Living in Southwest, the marching band goes through the center of Southwest. Every Saturday that we have a home game for football, literally like 9 in the morning, they'll wake you up with their music and everything. And then you don't really have any other option than just to get up, put your UMass shirt on, and like head over to the football stadium for the tailgate and the game. Hockey games are wicked fun. The hockey team's very, very good here. 2 years ago, they made it to the Final Four. Actually, they made it to the national championship game. They did lose, sadly. But the hockey team's great. The games are so much fun. We'll sell out the Mullen Center, which is the hockey arena on campus. There's 11,000 people that can fit in it. Me and my friends literally start lining up for the game 2 hours before it starts, just to make sure we can get good seats right behind the glass, right in front of the marching band. So yeah, tons of fun being a student at UMass. There's so many different things to do. But that's it for student life, and we'll move on now.
Oh no, I loved it. You not only did you throw in the marching band, but you also got a wicket in there too. So that was, and I'm going to put a plug in for the marching band again. It is my understanding the largest in the country, and it is actually open to anyone. You don't have to have any experience in marching band or even really music to be a part of the band. It's over 400 members. It's amazing. It is nationally renowned, and we are particularly proud of that. You'll find that at UMass, we're proud of a lot of things, and we well deservedly so. And we're also proud of the fact that there's a lot of emphasis at the within our community on student well-being, and that means all aspects of being a student, especially in light of this current pandemic. You know, we really are committed to helping our students find balance and to manage their well-being, whether that be in terms of staying physically fit, being able to not only eat well but to eat well, and to really act responsibly for all community members. We are, of course, facing challenges as a result of COVID, but we do look forward to the day when we can reopen campus fully and safely. For updated information on our COVID response, simply visit our website. We really do our best to keep everyone informed of our thinking and what our next steps are. Speaking of next steps, let's talk about the application process. So we do accept the common application. It's actually the only way to apply to the university. We engage in what is referred to as holistic review, which means that we truly do look at every application individually. We read it, all 42,000 that we receive. It'll take us about 4 months, but we do it. And we really are looking not only at that essay that you're working so hard on, but also those supplemental questions. So definitely put some thought into those as well. We require letters of recommendation, and I'm sure you're looking forward to providing them. It needs to be at least one academic letter, but no more than 3. Definitely looking for quality over quantity. That applies to extracurricular activities as well. And part of what our assistant directors and me as an associate director do is to get to know not only you, but also your high school and community. We're not looking for students to have participated or taken a certain number of extracurricular activities. We're looking at what was available to you within your community. Also take into consideration personal obligations, whether that be within your own family, jobs, community, and so forth. So take this opportunity to really present your authentic, unique self. Tell us about the challenges you've experienced, how you have learned and then applied those lessons. We want to see not only that you are academically ready to join the university, but to understand how you're going to contribute to our community and help challenge all of us so that we are better able to approach the world and make our mark wherever we choose to do so. Transcripts, we understand, are a bit wonky this year. I wish there were a better technical term for it, but we appreciate that. This is unique times. Your grades are going to be a bit different than they would have been in other years, and we understand that. Because of our understanding and our commitment to safety, we are actually test optional for the next 3 years. What this means is that you do not have to submit the SAT or ACT testing. If you have not yet taken the test, please do not go out there to find it just for UMass Amherst. Your application will be in no way harmed by not submitting scores. You absolutely can submit scores if you've already taken the test and want to do so. But again, it is not a requirement to apply and be accepted to the university. In terms of timeline, it's important to know these deadlines. First off is November 5th, early action deadline. Regular decision is January 15. I'm often asked which one is going to be better for you when it comes to your application. And I hate to tell you this because I'd like to give you a solid answer. It doesn't matter. Really, and this year more than ever, submit your application when you've gathered together all the information you feel is reflective of the work you have done. If that happens to be before November 5th, fantastic, you could have your decision by the holidays. If that doesn't happen until January, that's okay too. But I really encourage students to not agonize over this decision. Really have confidence in yourself. You've worked hard to get to this point. We will treat your application with respect and consideration. And really the only wrong decision is not to apply at all. Once you have submitted that application, certainly submit the FAFSA as well so that we can then package you for financial aid. All applications are considered for merit scholarships as well. We do offer need-based financial aid, which gets us to the, I'd also like to point out that no matter which decision or deadline you decide to submit your application for, the deposit deadline remains the same, which is May 1st. So plenty of opportunity to consider all of your options. I'm sure you'll have many. Important things to consider: out-of-state tuition for the university is $50,000. We do find that in terms of need-based scholarships and merit aid, that price comes down by about $12,000. So I definitely encourage you to submit an application so that we can at least begin to have conversations with real numbers. If you have any questions about financial aid, you can contact us here. Other activities and ways to stay connected, because I really hope this is the start of our conversation, is to participate in any one of these other virtual events that are all run by our students. So Conversations with UMass is really conversations with our UMass students. A virtual student guided UMass visit, long name, I didn't pick it, let's go with it, is really a virtual tour. And so students are able to take you around campus so you can see the different buildings and points of interest, and they can give you their insight and information that is relevant to that. Of course, if you don't want to interact with us, and that's okay, we won't take it personally, or you want a tour at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can certainly take our virtual tour as well. So again, please sign up, please check out these things, come more than once. That's the great part about being virtual, right? See if we say the same thing twice or if you catch us. Ways to stay in contact with us at the risk of sounding really old and out of step. Follow us on social media. Instagram and Twitter are really our most popular feeds. Oftentimes we will turn those over to students, especially in the weekends when, it's the weekend. But it gives you a sense of what goes on campus. For any specific questions, or general questions would go to mail at admissions.umass.edu. If we have any international students in the audience, those questions can be sent to our international counselors. of course, again, the financial aid. And then also for our students, we have 63, I think, tour guides. And so this email address here, tours@umass.edu, will get you in touch with all of them. So if you have a specific question, you're looking for more information on, I had an email today, Phil, about outdoor kayaking activities and so forth. Right, exactly. So really, there is no reason for you to not have your questions answered. But we really do appreciate all of your time here. I'm going to stop my share. And I apologize. I realize I did not unpin myself. So if you did not see enough of our students, then there is that. It looks like we don't have any questions in the Q&A. So I think we did a pretty good job. I appreciate your time, especially in the middle of the week. I really do hope that you give the University of Massachusetts Amherst a serious consideration. We would be so happy to welcome you into our community. And with that, I wish you a good day.
Yes, thank you everyone so much. Rachel, Laura, and Phil, great presentation. I wish I went to UMass, right, as a kid, as a college student. So thank you so much for your insights, and good luck in this trying time, and have a great rest of your evening, guys.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.